But we've got more reaction. Not only are we joined by the president, we also have from one of the LFAs, Vukile Mlanjana, former Gompo LFA president, to get his reaction on this. Good evening, Mr. Mlanjana. Thanks for joining us on Sports Live tonight.
Good evening to you, sir, and good evening to the viewers. Thank you.
Yeah, as somebody who's been involved with the LFAs, what is your reaction to this decision by SAFA to introduce membership fees?
Thanks very much for that. Firstly, to myself and to the children that are in the SAFA Buffalo City and then also in the Gombo LFA, I see this is just a money-making scheme that is detrimental to the development of our kids.
And why?
Remember,
why? Yes?
Yeah. Remember, it's one of the things that made us to resign from SAFA, because you cannot afford to look at these children's faces when they're asking this money, whereas we know their background, where they are coming from the poor areas of informal settlement. Thank you.
So why do you feel it's a money-making scheme then for SAFA?
The way I feel it is a money-making scheme is that if you look at their documents, SAFA, the document that it goes with the letter that they have circulated to all the regions on the 25th of June 2024. You are looking there even in the benefits that they are putting there. And the first thing that they are saying that their broadcast revenue reduced drastically from 2019 due to various factors. And then also they're mentioning the closing down of the 2010 FIFA World Cup Legacy Trust in 2022 resulted in elimination of the grant funding for most of their development programs. To me, and you go down to the benefits of this, and then you see these things are already been existing at SAFA Buffalo City. At SAFA National. At SAFA National. These things have been existing. If you look in the money for 2010, all these programs were there. Why now we talk about these benefits? You look at the immediate benefits, you look at their long-term benefits. It doesn't make sense. These are the things that are already been existing at SAFA. Thanks.
Yes, and as the regions, were you consulted? Do you know if other regions were consulted before this decision was taken?
To tell you, even I was in the Msobo today with the interviews, even last week. Our region, the Vice President, Mr. Pomeni, didn't know anything about the letter last week on the 6th, or that was Saturday. And today, when he was answering about the letter, that he said, yes, he did receive it, but they are still going to sit in the REC, the Regional Executive Committee. They are still going to sit. Based on that, they will take a decision. Because last week he said he said this cannot happen to the regions because it's just a money-making scheme. He also said so in the radio. So, but he said they are still going to sit today as the REC and deliberate on the letter. Thanks.
Okay, sounds like there was no proper consultation then. Let's see if we've got the acting president of SAFA back on the line. Tebogo Munyayi, can you hear us now? Okay, no, we really cannot get hold of, we can't make a proper connection with the acting president of SAFA, Tebogo Munyayi. But we'll stay with the former Gompo LFA president, Mr. Vukile Mlanjana here, who's also giving us some insight. And another interesting point that you raised earlier was that players, especially from these rural areas, just cannot afford these fees. So you think that was also not taken into consultation by SAFA?
No, it was never been taken into consideration by SAFA. If you just look at this thing, how it comes, you see that it was only people that can afford that were discussing these things. It's not the people that got a background of the grassroots where these kids are coming from. It's all about people that are affording in their areas. So no one on that NEC and that Congress that this thing was presented and approved to us, that it looks like had anything that the feeling of a black child suffering.
Okay, we'll try the acting president of SAFA one more time. Tebogo Munyayi, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Taviso, very well.
Great stuff. Thank you. What is the Players Union's reaction to this decision by SAFA to charge your members membership fees going forward?
Yeah, Taviso, good evening, and good evening to the viewers as well, within South Africa and outside South Africa. But one important thing for us is that footballers are not supposed to be charged any fee to play football, because it is their right to participate in a sport, whether organized or unorganized is their right. Let's look, Taviso, that what does FIFA do in terms of making sure that every federation in every country organize football. FIFA pays the grant to make sure that our federation, SAFA, which is the South African Football Association, they are given funds to organize football free of charge, and that should be afforded to the players as well, because the grant that they are getting from FIFA is for organizing formal football, and therefore players shouldn't be charged for that particular opportunity for them to participate in that. And we are saying as a union, this is a very disappointing and very touching issue to us, to say, and very shocking to say, to hear from the federation or the mother body to be charging such a fee to the players. And football is played by poor of the poorest. And now, if you are to say to footballers, they must pay a fee while footballers are part of the football club. So it becomes a shocking point to us. Maybe we should look at who are SAFAs members. SAFAs members are football clubs, not necessarily the football players.
But the other argument, though, well, the argument from SAFA is that they just don't have enough money in their coffers to improve football in South Africa, and this money will go a long way then in helping develop football and players in South Africa. Is that not a valid argument?
No, it is not a valid argument at all, because if they are to raise funds to try and make sure that their coffers are in order for them to be able to run football, they need to look at other avenues, such as there are so many academies in the whole country that are being formed every day, which is the avenue that they will need to use to raise funds. Those academies need to register and pay a fee. And just imagine now, a player plays for a certain academy, pays for that. There are a lot of academies that are commercial nowadays, where footballers are paid to be part of those academies. Now, you make the footballers to pay over and above what they are paying within the particular academies to play football. Now, you will turn around at Taviso and ask and say, there's what we call a compensation fee, which is being claimed by these particular clubs who are members of the federation. And now, when the compensation fee is claimed by this particular club and the player is paying for himself also a fee to affiliate to the mother body, when these compensation are being paid to the club, what does the player get? Does he get also be compensated or not? So those are the debate that we need to look at before we approve this. But as a union, we are saying we reject this. We don't accept this. Our members are being violated of their rights to play football free of charge, openly so in the country, because FIFA is paying for SAFA to organize football formally so to be played by our members.
Okay, well, it sounds like you haven't been consulted also, acting president of SAFA, then, just like the LFAs or the regions were telling us.
It is true. We've never been consulted by the mother body, but what we've done upon the receiving of this news, as a union, SAFPU, we then contacted SAFA via its CEO, myself. I spoke to the CEO to try and find out what are the issues, what are the points which were brought on the table to come to this particular decision of making players pay. In my discussion with the CEO, I then requested that we be forwarded with the document that was agreed upon in the NEC, so that we can speak on an informed information. And I think, it is very disappointing that SAFA don't also respect all stakeholders in the game.
Yeah, and we still have Mr. Vukile Mlanjana, also former president of the Kompo LFA there, and he was talking to us about the challenges faced by players from rural areas. And has there been any reaction from the parents also, Mr. Mlanjana?
Thanks. Since this thing is going to be implemented from the 1st of July 2020, which is, we are already on the 13th now, there's been a refusal. I will make an example. One LFA, Mdantsane Local Football Association, they are closing for registration of these fees was on the 7th. And the teams, they are not yet paid. So it means they are not welcoming this membership fees from SAFA project, this project of SAFA, the membership fees.
Sounds like there's also a lack of trust here with SAFA, because you described it as a money-making scheme. Is that correct also, that maybe you don't trust how this money would be used?
Yes, that is true, because on those things we are not told about this committee, independent committee that will be running this project of SAFA membership fees project. Remember, this is a project that will be making up around about 300 million. If all players are paid and also other members like your coaches, referees, because it said that they must also be part of this to pay. So remember, we are not told about those things. We are not told about independent also auditors that will just be focusing on auditing this project. Thanks.
Okay, well, interesting times ahead. Then we did reach out to SAFA also, to the CEO of SAFA, but they've been unable to honor the interview. We wanted them to also give their side of the story. But at Sports Live here and SABC News, we've seen the circular that has been sent to the region ordering players to start paying membership fees of 200 Rand if you are over 19. And if you are under the age of 19, then you pay 100 Rand. But you can hear from SAFPU as well as from some LFAs that they are not happy with this decision. And it looks like SAFA might have to go back to the drawing board then to get the support of their members first before they even come out with something like this. Thank you to the acting president of SAFPU, Vukile Mlanjana, and Mr. Mlanjana for joining us on the show.